intense but definitely worthwhile conversations. A podcast focused on bringing people together by drinking, listening, and conversing. So grab your favorite drink and let's see what's on today's menu. All right, people, welcome to Peeps Creek, the cafe. You know, here at the cafe, we always have a conversation centered around the drink. And today I am drinking on none other than my big bottle of water. Let me show you that. Boom, 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 boom. And I also have what we call a little whiskey sour. And today I am joined in the cafe by Denise. Say hello, Denise.
Hello, hello. Oh, I look very pale.
And how are you doing over there?
I'm tired, but hey, we're here.
we
And
we
I,
had
I even lost the makeup and everything, whatever I had on.
we we had some technical difficulties because we have not recorded God knows how long, and I caught myself trying to straighten up the little studio area and start unplugging all this shit, and then I realized I didn't remember where all the cords went, and so we
Well, you
spent.
realized today when we were about to record. So it's not like you realized it when you moved the
I
room.
no, I cleaned it today. I came down
Oh, okay.
to charge the lights, and I was like, but you know how I am. I once I get something in my head, I have to do it, or I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
And I was working, and I came downstairs, and I was like, I don't like all these cords. I don't like the way it looks. So I was trying to rearrange stuff, and I called myself rearranging it. But yeah, you know, things happen, such as life. But we here, right?
Yes, yes, we are. 2 hours
We
later, but we are here.
You're a hater. All right. So this is episode 90. Can you believe 90 episodes? It is episode 90. It is Say What Now? All right. So why say what now? It's because we've been sending each other all these different like Instagram things that's going on. And so I was like, fuck it, let's just have an episode on the things that we saw on Instagram that we kind of want to talk about. But it seemed like Denise was really only sending about one particular issue. Full disclaimer, I didn't do any kind of research on these issues. It's kind of just getting our raw kind of reaction to it. All right. So let's start off with kind of the first one. The first one is kind of what I want to say is, is there a double standard? And so we've been hearing a lot about, sorry, I have this new zero gravity hookah and I wanted to partake in it. All right. So we've been hearing a lot in the media and all that, yeah, 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 about all these different people, right? That have all these different men who essentially engage in, I don't know, I guess sexual harassment, sexual assault, improper behavior, right? We had several things going on. And so recently in the genre of this is there was a situation with the guy from Power. Now, full disclaimer, I don't watch Power. I haven't watched it in God knows how long. And actually, I don't even know if it's called Power anymore because isn't the dad dead or something?
Yeah, I think Power ended, and so this is like a spin-off from Power, which is, oh my God, what is the name of the new show? Book Two Ghosts
Yeah, okay, yeah.
or
So
something like that.
I stopped watching it once Ghost fell off
But
the
you remember
banister.
though, when you were watching it, you remember who he was, right?
Yeah, he's the son,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Tariq.
Yeah, because afterwards he started getting like he took over for the dad.
Yeah, but I stopped watching it because the show started to annoy me.
Yeah, both that one and Empire. Remember, at one point it was like, ugh, like
Oh yeah,
storyline is not.
the storyline was bad, and then the boy tried to act like those people were kidnapped. The Africans were kidnapping him, so
Oh,
that
you're
kind of
talking
went.
about that guy from
Jussie
Joseph.
Smollett, baby. All
Because
right,
he.
so apparently, what happened was is that he got groped or something, right? On live by the sister. And so the question really becomes kind of like, what does that mean? Kind of essentially, is it sexual assault? Is it not? What's your thoughts?
It's sexual assault.
Are you sure? Because 50 Cent said, nah, bruh. 50
Which
Cent,
I'm I'm
50 Cent said, wait, he said, according to the neighborhood talk, 50 Cent said what happened to Michael Rainey Jr., who was Tariq, that's how I know him of, as on live stream was just an aggressive advance, not sexual assault. He's fine. No charges are being pressed. All right. So what's your thought? Because you're about to say something.
Then I'm just surprised that 50 Cent would actually come out and say that, like it's clearly sexual assault. And 50 Cent made a comment of, wait, sexual assault from a male perspective, saying this is really not, sexual assault. This is just the aggressive advance. No, that's sexual assault regardless. The way that girl went up to him and just put her hand, you can see he clearly was like, whoa,
And
what?
he apparently he kind of just left from the
He
scene,
did.
is what I
He
understood.
left the stream, yeah.
All right. And so
And
I don't
he you
go
sorry,
ahead.
did you see the statement that he made afterwards?
Yeah, I'm about to put that on now. So he came out and he made a statement and basically said, at this point, everyone has seen the video circulating online. I'm still in shock, don't fully know how to process what happened last night. This is an unfortunate situation that I do not condone in any way. I can't take it lightly because I know I would be in serious trouble if the roles were reversed. The fact is, sexual assault is never okay, regardless of gender or status. We are human and we should respect each other. Most importantly, we should always respect ourselves. Okay. So you're it seems like you kind of in line with what he was saying and you're kind of discounting what 50 Cent was saying.
1,000%.
Now, I don't
Sexual
know
assault is sexual assault regardless.
and I don't know what the guy was saying in the stream. What afterward the fact? What was he saying
Well,
basically?
originally he was basically just saying that he would deal with the sister, that he is accustomed being around celebrities, she's not. So basically, trying to like, I wouldn't necessarily say stand up for her, but kind of say, listen, he's a celebrity, so she was probably, too too happy or too this or too that, you know what I mean? And so he started getting backlash for that because people were like, being around celebrities or not, what she did was wrong. So then he came back after that, stream that you just saw there, and he said, yeah, what she did was unacceptable, and whatever he wants to do to her, I will support him. Basically, kind of saying, like, if he decides to press charges, I will support whatever his decision was.
So, but was that in line with what he was saying when he was that little
Originally,
yeah,
no.
cuz
The first thing that he was trying to say was basically trying to say, listen, she's never been around celebrities, she was just happy being around him, and I'll deal with her, let me deal with her, she's my sister, I'll deal with her. That's basically what he was trying to say.
so, yeah, I guess I don't disagree with anything that you said, which is weird because normally I would disagree
Yeah,
like most
normally
would.
we
Yeah.
Because just think about
I
it. It's like a lot of the comments were saying, had the roles been reversed, where he would have been the one doing that to her, oh, he would have been canceled, probably in jail right now.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, like for me personally, I've been groped a lot without requesting that it occurs.
No. Hell, no.
So
Uh-uh.
I, I definitely understand and agree. Like it doesn't matter kind of the gender, it doesn't matter kind of the situation. If it's not wanted, if it's not, you
Exactly.
know, invited by the person, it shouldn't happen. And yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that that occurred, particularly with respect to what was going on there.
And in front of the kids, because the kids literally right in front of them.
Right in front of the kids. Yeah. All right. So you want to kind of set up the thing that you were excited to talk about?
Sure. All right. So next on our say what agenda, we have what I've been dying to talk about, which is
And she
Brian.
said a lot of clips, but go ahead.
Sure did it. The Brian Steele, which is Young Thug's lawyer, what happened yesterday, where he got sent to jail
For
for it was is it contempt of court or something like that?
yeah, contempt of court. All right. So let's
Which
take a
is
look.
BS.
Well,
BS, if you ask me.
let's get to the clip first and see
Huh?
because it seems like you are already ready. All right.
I want to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to get anybody else. I'm asking you, how did you get this information? I'm not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information. Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems. We can have this. I have problems right now. Okay, I know. Look, I don't want to know about your problems. Okay, at this point in time, all I'm asking you at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? You're look. If the case gets reviewed, the record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that how somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the court's private ex parte conversations with a party. I mean, yes. A witness who was sworn in Friday. The court's telling, this is what I was told. If this is not true, not true. This court Mr. handed Mr. Copeland. Tell me how you got the information. Listen, whatever you want to do. Tell me how you got the information, then we can go ahead and go forward. I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is this. I was told, and I hope this concerns the court. It concerns me that you have proprietary information. Why is it proprietary?
Not
Information
proprietary.
that you should not be
It
having that was
concerns
ex
you.
parte. Why? With a party. Why? State of Georgia. How about the witness? How about Mr. Copeland, who supposedly announced he's not testifying and he'll sit for 2 years, and then supposedly this honorable court, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. This court supposedly said, I can hold you until the end of this trial. Ms. Hilton supposedly said, actually, all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. If that's true, what this is coercion, witness
Mistrial.
intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for. So I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did. Mr. Steele, I still want to know, how did you come upon this information? Who told you? What I want to know is, why wasn't I there? Why, sir? I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who the. Tell me who this information was. I don't want to be held in contempt. Well, I'm not answering that question. That's
And
attorney-client
he
privilege.
stood his ground.
Attorney-client privilege. Unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out. I tell you what. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me, if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you in contempt because that is not attorney-client privilege. Attorney work product privilege. I am not. How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you? I'm not. You should have told me.
Hmm.
You got 5 minutes. Well, I don't need it. I want to continue. This is what I was told. Mr. Copeland says.
All right, let's stop there. All right, so all right, so obviously let's just kind of tee what was going on.
Wait,
So
before you see what you know when you're in a relationship and you catch the person cheating and the
mhm.
person's like, "But who told you?" Well, does it matter who told me? Did it happen or did it not
It
happen? That's
does matter
exactly what
because
was going on.
that person might not be credible. But all right, so let's talk a little bit about it. All right, so you want to
Okay.
kind of give me your gut reaction when you saw this.
Well, immediately, as I seen the clip, I'll be completely honest. Do I know about the case? Yes, I do. Why? Because it's been publicized on Instagram, which is my only social media. And so, yes, I when it's publicized, I'll read it. This is not the first lawyer who's gotten in trouble because of this case. So, I've been kept in the loop just when I see clips.
Mhm.
Yesterday, when I saw that, and it's exactly that thing that you showed, I was like, what? Like he literally put this man in jail just because he didn't want to give the source. Like again, it's like I just mentioned, it's almost like if it was a relationship fight. But who told you? Like, who told you that I cheated? Who cares who told me? you know the information, did it happen or did it not happen? Because if it did happen, shouldn't I have been there?
Well, why do you think he should have been there? Let's start there.
Okay, so this is my understanding of what happened, right? This is the key witness guy on Friday.
Hmm.
He's been apparently saying he does not want to testify.
Hmm.
Okay, so on Friday, apparently he refused to testify, so he was placed in jail over the weekend.
The witness.
The witness.
Hmm.
So apparently yesterday, it comes to this lawyer's, to Young Thug's lawyer
How
attention,
did he get that information?
but that's what he doesn't want to say because it's what is it that he says?
Uh,
Patient, not patient,
Attorney-client privilege.
attorney-client privilege. Correct. That's what he's saying.
Is it attorney-client privilege?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the lawyer here, not me,
So let me just say this. So I don't practice criminal law, and I don't practice criminal law for a reason, right? Because I don't like it.
because of this.
No, you got to have the great. You got to have the real cases in order to make some good money, and this guy's obviously making some good
Hmm.
money. But putting that aside, so typically judges are weary about having what they call ex parte communications, and ex parte communications are problematic for various reasons. So what ex parte communication is not legal advice. This is just me talking because I want to be a professor. All right, so ex parte communications means that the judge is having a conversation with a party without the other side present, right? And the problem with that is that you don't know what the conversation is. And
Right.
so typically, when there is a trial going on, there should not be any ex parte conversations, particularly with the substance of the litigation. And in this case, in the criminal aspect, with respect to the actual case and the substance of the case. Now, if the witness was scared, what we don't know, and I'm not saying this is the case, if the witness was scared because they felt that they were going to be harmed because of the fact that they were testifying, then I can see why the judge may want to speak with him. However, comma, the judge should have spoke with that person either in the presence of both lawyers to avoid any kind of air of impropriety, or just spoke to the witness to find out, to interrogate whether or not there is any kind of fear or any threats that was made to the witness about him testifying. So those are two different things, right? So I agree. This is weird. I agree that it's a little problematic that the judge is more focused about how he had that conversation. Here's the other thing: that conversation about how you found this information should have been held in the chambers with the prosecutor and the defense on the side. Where the defense could
Exactly.
have said to the prosecution, I want to know why you had this conversation with the judge outside the presence of me when I'm representing an individual who has a right to confront any witness or any kind of person who's claiming that they are accused of a particular crime, right? So that's fundamentally the the precepts of criminal law. You should be able to confront your witnesses, right? The only time that you don't get to really confront your witnesses is if there is some kind of real issue. For instance, if it's a child, normally you won't be able to see the person, right? But you may be able to ask them questions, what have you, or not. And similar to that case where we did it with the woman in the fire, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It was all about being able to confront the witness, and in the process of doing that, what they did was they decided to do a deposition in the hospital bed so that the criminal defendant would be able to, you know, basically cross-examine the witness. So I do agree that this is problematic, and I don't even know why the judge decided that this was a good idea to have a secret meeting with a key witness, right? Because what we don't know is what the conversation was. There's not a court reporter there. There's not a court reporter in the judge's chamber that is
Right.
actually writing down exactly what was said, right? So it, who knows what was said? The witness, not being a lawyer, could have blurted out something that was key to the case.
I don't think he said anything. I don't think based on what they're saying.
That doesn't matter. The point of the matter is,
Right. 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 Right.
I am his lawyer, if I'm Young Thug's lawyer, I'm going to be bitching up a storm because the
No,
bottom
me
line,
too.
I don't know what the witness said. I don't know what the prosecution said. And I damn sure don't know what the judge said, who is making rulings on evidence, on how that evidence actually comes into the case, right? And so I do think that's
Well, he
kind of.
kind of gave us a peek of what the prosecution said because apparently the Copeland guy says that the prosecutors told him if he didn't testify, because remember, Friday he declined to testify, which is why he was ordered to be in jail for the weekend.
Mhm.
So apparently, what this conversation took place, what the prosecution told him was that if he did not testify, which is what the lawyer mentioned, they would make him remain in jail for the duration of the trial and even potentially until all 26 defendant cases were resolved. And so
which is
that's why
another which is another problem, right? Does a judge have the ability to hold individuals in contempt of court? Yes, they do. There's nothing that prevents them from doing that. Because if there is a lawful order that's given by a judge and you refuse to do it, the judge can hold you in contempt, whether you are a witness, whether you are a defendant, whether you are an attorney or not. Right now, I will say this, however, comma, unless I find it very hard to say that the information is privileged, right? Because 9 times out of 10, the information came from another source, not his defendant, not his client, right? Now, his client could have told him that he heard this from someone.
right,
That conversation about what they had could potentially be privileged, right? But if in fact the witness reached out to the person on their own to prepare to help them prepare the case and said, "Look, I think there's some problems here," arguably you could make an argument that that is work product because it's in anticipation of a trial and the trial is still going on and you're still holding up your case. I'm not sure how effective that would be, but those are just reasons in which a lawyer can't divulge information that either their client provided or that they are doing to research to do things in relation to their particular case. Does that make sense?
it does. Word on the street is that it was,
Not word on the street because you out there
yes,
on the street. What
word,
streets? What
listen,
streets,
word
girl?
on the Georgia streets right now are saying that that information came from this witness lawyer. Apparently, this witness lawyer approached
Well, that wouldn't
Young
be
Thug's lawyer.
that wouldn't be attorney-client privilege. Now, what his client,
I don't know.
the witness lawyer said to his lawyer's privilege. What the lawyer disclosed to the lawyer is not privilege, not attorney-client privilege. However, comma, it could be a very strong argument that it is work product because the Young Thug's lawyer is still navigating through the trial, and arguably it could be in anticipation of a trial. But however, typically that is normally the things that you are doing before the trial begins, not while the trial is going, right? But
Well,
it still could be considered work product, right? Because ultimately, in order because the prosecution case is still going on. So in order for him to put up a defense, he still needs to investigate, he still needs to do what he needs to do. But I'm looking at myself in this camera, I'm looking at this chest. This chest is chested, people.
listen, this lawyer
Ah, look,
said,
look, 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 wait. Look at that. Boom,
no,
boom,
listen to me.
boom,
This
boom,
lawyer
boom.
said, you want me to go to jail? I
Hold
will
on,
go to
I'm about to
jail.
show that clip because you were talking a lot about this. So let's go to that one.
Oh, you have that clip?
I You sent 40,000 fucking clips.
Play it, play it.
Hold on. This is when he comes back into the courtroom.
Hmm.
Go to that one. Right.
He said, I'm gonna take this
Got
jacket off.
information that you shouldn't have had. And then you can't, and then you turn around and you say, well, I did something, the court did something wrong and that we should be entitled to have the transcript. You all have contorted and perverted that particular process. You really have. What I said was it is a material part of the trial. It's not, well. Has a right to be at, and I'd like to it would be just like if you all in the past have had ex parte conversations with the court. And I won't say about for what.
But that's
You
not
and
true.
Mr. Adams.
It's
and
totally
others.
different. But okay.
That is your right. And that little period or that little
It's almost like he
conclave
got caught, and so
of
he's just saying
discussion with
stuff
the
to say
court
stuff.
protects you
Yeah, ex
and
parte
protects the system. It's
conversation
recorded and taken down.
between
So if it
the
needs to be
lawyers
reviewed
and the court,
later,
and then ex
it gets
parte.
reviewed.
It's totally different.
But you have was present. That's what I'm trying to say. That doesn't make a difference, but you got information that you shouldn't have had. And then you can't, and then you turn
What you
around
mean
and
you
say, well,
shouldn't have?
the court did something wrong.
Well, I, I don't know the substance of why we has any. And let me in any of the clips that you sent me because you sent me like 43. So in any of the clips that you sent me, did they kind of communicate? Does anyone know what the substance is
What you mean the substance, like the
of the
conversation?
conversation? Yeah.
Yeah, well, apparently, well, remember, because he did not want to divulge who told him, the only thing he said was, I was made aware that you guys met with him, and he was told if he would not testify, you would put him in jail until the case is done or until the 26 defendants are tried.
So part of the problem, and I think the real argument underneath the surface of all that is it's just not that you had this ex parte conversation, meaning that you had this conversation with the opposing counsel who was bringing a case against folks, right, to put them in jail potentially, and a key witness without me present, but you are potentially coercing the
Hmm.
testimony of the witness, which I think is the most problematic piece of this.
And that's what
Because
he said.
if you are threatening someone to have them in jail, either for a week, 2 weeks, or until 26 defendants have gone through a trial, which we know means that that could be delay after delay after delay,
Hmm.
which means that we don't have any kind of endpoint of when a person's in jail. That's problematic because the argument I think is that as the judge who is there to control the order of the trial, but also to ensure that justice has been served, it's problematic that you are potentially saying this. Now, again, I don't know if the judge said this or not. We are just saying, based upon what the allegations are, that the judge said that if you don't testify X, Y, and Z, but that could be conceived as coercion in regards to the type of testimony that the person would then try to produce at the trial. Because who wants to sit in fucking jail for an
Hmm.
indefinite period of time while we wait for 26 motherfuckers to go through trial?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
Right.
the Brian Steele said. I don't think the Brian Steele was so into the ex parte. He kept saying it's the coercion and witness intimidation is what he kept saying.
Right, right. And remember we talked about this in several different cases where courts have been very clear about, even I told you, even in trial, when you go out for lunch, right? And you walk
Hmm.
past a juror, if a juror says something to you as a lawyer, you can't say shit to them. I don't
Right.
care if they say hello, right? Because the reality is that there is there's an aspect or perception of impropriety and an aspect that you are trying to coerce a certain
Hmm.
end result, right? And I don't think that's any different with a judge. Now, granted, unfortunately, the way our judicial system works, right, is that the presumption is that a judge is able to navigate through and understand the differences in regards to what he or she is supposed to be ruling on in a particular case. So most state judges, there are some kind of parameters, some kind of ethics that they have to follow, and you can follow like a judicial complaint, right? But judges have a lot of authority, right? Even if Brian Steele was to say that this is problematic, Your Honor, because there's an impropriety and we think that you need to recuse yourself, which basically says the judge needs to move himself from this case. Do you know who decides that?
Who?
The actual judge who's you having the problem with.
Oh, you know how I know that? Because of 19 minutes, whatever the book is.
Yes. Oh, the book I told you to read.
Yes. Because
Um,
remember, she ended up removing herself.
right.
So basically what you're telling me is that even if we file a petition on change.org, is it change.org where we put the petition to have people sign to remove this judge? That's not going to happen unless the
Well,
judge
you mean
basically
remove themselves from the
decides.
bench? Well, that's
Yes.
most judges. So it depends on jurisdictions, but most jurisdictions, when it comes to state judges, they are political, and what that means is people vote for them to be on the bench. So that will
Well, he
require
can kiss
folks.
his next term
Well,
goodbye.
we don't know that. We
Oh
don't know
no,
that.
he can kiss it goodbye.
Okay. Most state local judges are voted in. That means they campaign, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're voted in. They're not like federal judges. So federal judges, when they are appointed to the bench, they're appointed for life until either they decide to retire or they die. But for state and local judges, that's not the same. No, normally they have to campaign and be elected. So he can be out potentially from an election standpoint.
But
You
not from this case.
I mean, you can certainly file a complaint of potential judicial misconduct, but I would tell you, as someone who practiced in the field, I mean, I'm not very hopeful that folks are really going to do what they need to do to investigate those claims and actually make some decision based upon the particular case. I just don't think so. And the judge could have a valid reason why he felt it was a necessity to have this conversation. Again, I don't know, right? Because I haven't spoke to the judge, but I would tell you that the perception of impropriety is very relevant, very clear, and problematic, I think, from a judge's perspective. But again, even if there is a motion for this judge to recuse himself, the judge is going to have to read the motion, and the judge himself is going to have to decide, yo, do I want to move myself from this case or nah?
And he ain't. He's
And
not
it
because
doesn't really seem, I don't know him. It doesn't seem like he is going to remove himself. So
so let me ask you this.
wait, wait, wait,
But
wait,
him
wait. Go ahead,
mhm,
because we also you
him
go ahead. Him,
holding
him, Ben, who
the judge, holding Young Thug's attorney with the contempt and sentencing him to jail. You think that was
weekends.
an accurate decision?
So I don't want to opine on that because I don't know all the facts. But here's what I will say: a judge has the authority to hold any individual in which there is an order provided to them, and they disregard that order in contempt. Now, I don't know why it was exercised in the way it was exercised in this case,
Oh, because he was mad. I'll
right?
say it for you.
When there are other folks who should have been held in contempt many of times and placed in jail and were not, and the defendant did not look the way Young Thug looks or the YSL trial looks. Okay.
Right.
But the problem is that this judge is also black. So we can't, people can be like, well, you can't be saying racism because the judge is black and defendant is black. But I think this is also overwhelming a problem with respect to the type of justice that is provided to certain individuals sometimes in criminal cases. And, this guy has money, obviously, the defendant, right? So it's not always about money. So a lot of people think it's really about the money. Yes, the money is about the type of lawyer that you can afford, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be afforded and the same treatment within the justice system. And I just don't think, I'm just saying, I think that the proper recourse would have been, first of all, let's turn these fucking cameras off and let's go in my
Mhm.
motherfucking chambers if I was the judge and let's have this goddamn conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to tell me in my chambers, how did you receive this information without any repercussion, right? How did you receive this information so that I can understand and let me explain to you
What actually
without get
happened?
without giving you too much information because not necessarily that he's required to know everything, why it was important and it was a a necessity at that moment in that time in that space for me to have that conversation. And I think those are just different conversations. That's just my opinion.
Well, poor Mrs. Steele is going to be spending 20 days, 20 weekend. Well, what is it? 20 days in jail. It's going
On
to
the
be
weekends,
on
which
weekends.
and here's the other thing, right? Those 20 weekends that he's losing means that he is losing the ability to prepare and defend against a case because he may
No, no,
not
no.
have
I sent you that video.
what video.
I don't know if I sent you the video, but I'm telling you, when he came back, he said, "Okay, you want me to spend time in jail?" I mean, basically, he didn't say it like this, but he said, "Oh, you sending me to jail? Perfectly fine. I want to be sent to Fulton County, where Young Thug is, because he's my client, and I
What
need to
did
continue
he grant
preparing."
that? Did he
Yes,
grant that?
he granted
Ah,
it. He said,
so that they
"Okay,
can still
I'll
prepare.
give you that."
All right.
which again to me is like, so you literally went through all that back and forth with him, back and forth with him
But then the
about,
witness fired his attorney.
yeah, the witness said, because
What?
she
Let me
she
put that. Let me put that. Let me put that on
she
there.
wanted
Hold up.
to.
Hold up. Let me put that on there. Hold up. Because she said, I ain't got time at all.
Mr. Copeland's counsel, Ms. Bumpus, would like to be released. Is that correct, madam? Okay, all right. Sir, Mr. Copeland, is it your desire to release your counsel at this point in time?
She fat.
She's fine? Okay.
She
So do you
fired.
wish to represent yourself in these particular, in terms of any issues you may have in this particular?
Do I got a choice?
I'm sorry?
Do I got a choice?
Yes, you do.
And what are those?
You can keep your lawyer that you have right
I don't
now.
want her.
All right. You could certainly hire another lawyer, or the court could appoint you a lawyer.
What I need a lawyer for? What?
No, it's just the court is just asking you whether it's your choice, sir.
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Ms. Bumpus, did you file an entry of appearance? All right. Did you, under the Uniform Superior Court rules, file a? Okay. Before we call in
That's a,
our jury,
I
Why
mean,
you
you can
think he?
clearly
Why you think he
tell.
fired? Why you think he fired her?
I think many reasons. I want to first go to his body language. You can clearly tell this person doesn't want to be there. The way he has his arms up, like,
Come on,
what am I?
FBI agent.
It's just that, he's like, even when he said, "What are my choices?" Like, motherfucker. I'm sorry.
It's
Cut that.
okay.
Cut
No, I'm
that.
not gonna
No,
cut
cut
that.
that because
About
I
time.
have people.
About
Listen,
time you started
I
cursing.
have people from work now maybe listening
You
to
will be
cut that.
fine, and they will
Cut
be
that.
okay.
Anywho, he's basically, when he says, "What are my choices?" is basically like he's saying, you know, if I don't hire another lawyer, you're still gonna assign me a public defender. You know, look, I don't want to
Well,
testify.
but the question is, here's the other thing: is he entitled to a lawyer as a witness? He's not a defendant. So appointed. Here's the other problem with this: appointing resources for a witness who is not a defendant. You're not entitled to an attorney.
So what is your take on that then? By the lawyer I mean by the judge
I
asking
think
him that.
that just further substantiates that this ex parte conversation was problematic.
Yeah.
Because why would a witness be offered a defender, right? A
Public
public
defendant?
defender. Why would they be offered that? Why?
I don't
If
know.
they are not being accused of a crime, certainly a witness can take the option to say, "I plead the fifth" on the stand. But that doesn't.
That's what I would have
But
said too.
but
I,
but
I
but
plead the
but
fifth.
but,
I plead
but
the fifth.
even pleading the fifth does not entitle you to public resources for a lawyer. So I think this also substantiates that there is an issue or a problem with the fact of this ex parte conversation. I don't think. I mean, I hate to say this. It seems to me that there's more going to this story than meets the eye, which
Yeah.
goes back to the other issue that I've been raising on many episodes, but y'all just think I be bitching and complaining and whining, right? The fact of the matter is that you need to be out there voting who the fuck
Mhm.
represents you in the prosecution's office, period. Point blank, period, the end, right? You need someone that is going to recognize what justice truly mean, not just about trying to get the victim's rights or not just trying to get the defendant to be held responsible for a crime, but also to hold and toe the line of what the law requires, right? And the
Right.
expectations of the law. And I think that this is emblematic of that particular thing that I have been saying on many episodes. Just say it. Yeah, I mean. But y'all think I just be whining and all this and these comments that be coming in. But bruh, fuck with your boy. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to say about this before we move to the next topic?
Yes.
Because this
So
this is 42 minutes, girl.
Brian still did appeal. So we'll see.
His
We'll see
wife
what
did.
happens.
Yeah, his wife
His
said it.
wife, yeah, his wife
Mhm.
appealed on his behalf. Gosh, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, so I went in to try to find more information on Brian Steele, right? Tell me why
Mhm.
everybody was going on this man's Google reviews and giving him 5 stars. Like if you were to do a Google review on him right now, he has 5.0 stars. And they're
Well,
just like
I just would say as a lawyer, and again, this is not me giving legal advice. It takes a lot of guts to stand up to the person who is supposed to be the arbiter of fairness and the arbiter of evidence and the arbiter of so many things, right? Even though there's a jury, what people fail to realize is that there are many rulings that occur as a result of the arbiter of facts, the arbiter of evidence, the arbiter of the law, which is the judge, right? Of letting things in, excluding things. And so, it takes a lot of guts to do that.
before we move on,
Come on,
let's
Brian Steele, fuck him up, baby.
all right. Let's say what we think the outcome of this is going to be. Mistrial or not? I say mistrial.
Well, it would only be a mistrial of A, if there is a motion filed and the judge agrees, or
Oh,
B,
oh
the jury can't come to a conclusion.
no, I think it's going to be the second. I think the jury is not going to come to a conclusion.
But I don't think the jury was listening to any of that. Now I'm
No, the
sure,
jury was not present.
and they
That
are.
that I
and-
checked.
Now, are they sequestered?
They are apparently.
So
But, that's never stopped no one. And I would not want to be a
you wouldn't want to be a juror
juror.
because you
No,
love
not
to
on this
be a
case.
juror.
Listen, in this case, if I
You
was a
could be.
juror,
You'll be the one.
Young
You'll
Thug
be
would be free. Do you hear me?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. You'll get
Free
that
Young
mistrial.
Thug.
You get that mistrial, baby. Get that mistrial. All right. Let's move to another one. All right. So we are going to quickly move to my home city. Mm, mm,
Mm, mm, mm.
mm. I didn't. I didn't fully look at this, dude. I'm looking at it for the first time. All right, we are going to Detroit, Michigan,
I
where
feel like my son shouldn't have had to go through that. My baby is 9 years old. He's traumatized. He doesn't want to go to school. He's afraid to even get back on the bus.
Tashonda Bennett says her 9-year-old never made it home from school Wednesday on his own. Instead, she says her older son found the child inside a school bus around 9:30 that night.
Well, I feel like the school failed us. It was my child who found my baby.
Bennett says her son got on the bus Wednesday morning with his 14-year-old sister. The child attends Detroit Service Learning Academy. Mom says the boy made it to school and then after school got back on the bus to come home. She says he's usually home around 3:45, but she says that day she fell asleep. It wasn't until 7 in the evening that she realized the child was nowhere to be found. So she started frantically calling everyone and anyone, including the bus driver.
The bus driver didn't even come here. He never even came here. He told me that my son did not get on the bus, which I just don't know what to do. I don't. Like, I feel like my son shouldn't have had to go through that. My baby is 9 years old. He's traumatized.
So, what do you think about that as a parent?
Okay, so I agree with her 1,000%. And I know a lot of people were saying, "Why would she be on camera that looking that way?" Listen,
Wait,
this is
people would say
about her
that.
baby. Yes,
I
they
ain't
were
read the
like, "Why
cameras.
was she on camera? Look, why would she go on camera looking like that?" It's not about putting myself together to go on camera to talk about the fact that this person left my son in the school bus, and I agree with her. He did not check. I'm gonna tell you about Dorian's elementary school bus person. This lady, she will literally, when she drops them off, she goes seat by seat by seat by seat by seat.
Look, they
Check.
don't pay them enough. He said, "I gotta go home." My wife
No,
is
she literally does that. So I agree with her. He did not check. Second thing, I remember one time, okay, and this is a failure across all, I'm gonna say all the states in the United States.
not.
There's no,
You've been to all the states, girl.
listen, I'm gonna put my paycheck on the line that I'm pretty sure this is a problem across, if not, how many states is it that we have? 50?
50.
Probably 48 states. But I remember one time Dorian's school bus wouldn't like it wouldn't come. And I'm like, oh my God, it's past the time. It was when he was in middle school. So he would usually home by 5 p.m. It was almost 6 p.m. and this kid wasn't home. And I'm desperate and I'm checking his phone. His battery had died. So obviously there was no way for him to communicate with me.
If
So
he
in
would have
my
stayed,
head,
if he would have stayed off that phone, he wouldn't have that problem. But go ahead.
I'm like, but go back to the days when you and I were in school. There were no phones.
Well,
There
I
were
was missing
no
for like
phones.
6, 7 hours when
Don't
I
try to
was
take
six.
my story. You
All right,
have
go
time to
ahead.
say your story.
I'm not gonna even tell
So
my story. Go ahead.
at this point, I'm like, what do I do? I tried calling the school. The school at that point was closed. And I'm like, who else do I call? So I'm like, Davian, go to the bus stop and just stay at the bus stop just in case. Maybe look around, see if maybe he got off the bus and is just talking to his friends or whatnot. So while Davian did that, I got in the car and I drove the route that I know the school bus would take.
Hmm.
And then it's not because I kept googling, like, how do I get in contact with the bus drivers, who can I reach after hours for emergency, until finally I found a number. And then I told them the bus number that Dorian was in, and they said they were going to check and call me back. They literally called me back like maybe 30 minutes after. There had been such a bad accident in the way that the bus had to take a different route. But because they had to drop so many kids off, they were still en route to come to me. But like, how would I have known that?
What did you? Let me ask this question: did you go on their Twitter account to see if, in
I don't have
fact,
Twitter.
well, they do
Now, the
post. Did you go on
year,
the? Let me finish. Did you go on Facebook
I
to
don't
look?
have Facebook, I don't have Twitter. I just mentioned earlier, my only social media account is Instagram. There was nothing in there.
And they didn't do the robocall.
No, they don't even do that. Like, remember, this is the transportation department. So
I
the
know,
trans
but you know how the robocall used to call for Davion and be like, he ain't here because we were
no,
late.
that's the school.
Mm,
It's two different things. So no, the school didn't even send a message because the bus left on time. Had the bus left later, yes, they would have sent the message saying, hey, the bus left late, because they usually do. This wasn't the case. The case was that on route they had to take a different way to actually get to the house. But
yeah,
again, there's no way of communicating that. Now, the year after that happened, they created an app. And so the app, every person that had a kid taking the bus,
this
you will
story is
put in
long though, girl. But go ahead.
you will put in the you have for 2 episodes. You will put in the bus number and it had like a GPS. So it
Hmm.
will show you where the bus actually was.
So, what's your point at the end of the day of this conversation?
That there is a flaw in the transportation, in the school system.
I agree 100%. Damn, I can we get to a topic that I disagree with you on? Shit,
Maybe it's because we
damn.
haven't had a episode in so
Oh,
long.
okay, yeah, I agree. I I didn't read the comments because if it was me, I wouldn't give a shit what I'm looking like. If my son
Exactly.
is not here on time when he's supposed to be here, and no one communicated, and I'm pretty sure the bus parked and the bus driver left and went home.
Listen, the kid was not found until 9 p.m.
Right,
And the reason why the kid was found was because his older brother decided to go with his grandma to the bus
right.
and they kept knocking on the
And the
windows,
bus
knocking
is
on the
normally
windows.
sometimes the bus is not on the school grounds. It's in a different location.
Exactly. Exactly. Usually there's some places they're in the person's house where the person lives.
Yeah.
But did you hear how they got him out of the bus?
No, how?
The brother, remember, there's a handle on top of the
On
bus,
the
so he
top.
got
He
on top
climbed on
and
the top.
yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
that's
he
where I'm at.
pulled him.
She needs to be suing.
What? I'll be owning that school. That, well, the transportation system, because it really wasn't the school's fault.
Well, the question becomes,
And I don't want to hear in the comments about,
are they extension of the school? But go ahead.
because apparently the kid was supposed to be home by 3 something and the mother had fallen asleep. And usually to
I
go
saw
to
one
the
comment and the
school,
lady was like, "You don't know her work schedule."
I didn't see that one. When they left to go to school, he left with his 14-year-old sister. So she and him got in the bus together. Returning back, the sister is she put him in the bus. So she kept telling the mom, he's lying to you because I put him in the bus. I saw him get in the bus.
Right. So what are
So
you saying? You don't want
that
to
I don't
hear?
want to see in the comments, in our comments when we post this, that what was the mom doing? Why they
Well,
had to wait until 9
but
p.m.?
it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that her son wasn't home when he's supposed to be. He was on the goddamn bus. Period. I
And wasn't
mean,
found until 9.
yeah. So I mean,
My heart would have already been. Oof. Oh, it was so funny the way I have to say this because I remember I called my mom, I called my sisters, I
oh, this
called
is
my
back on your
nieces.
story when you lost your son.
Yes, and I did not lose my son. The bus lost
Wow,
my child.
wow. You didn't
Was
know where your
I was
own child
even
was. Were you working at
listen, I
home?
was yes, I was already home. I
Wow,
can't remember. I
you
think
were.
this was I want to say this was during COVID, so we probably yeah.
Well, where was Davion? Because Davion was here for
Davian was
school.
here. I told Davian to stay in the bus stop and wait to see if maybe, he arrived there. And Davian kept saying, "Mom, like, he's gonna be okay. Like, stop." Because I was desperate. I was gonna call the police and file a missing case because my child was an hour late from school.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you took it upon yourself to navigate through that system. But I agree there needs to be a better system. But I'm glad that whatever school system that is, and we don't need to say it, that they created that app where you can now see the GPS location of the bus and things of that nature, particularly when, kids' phones are on their phones. And sometimes, teachers take their phone because they're in class with it. And so they may take their phone for a day and wait for the parent to come pick it up, so you never know. So not
Yeah.
having that information and not being able to know exactly where they are is important. And yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said, and I definitely agree with the mom. And I don't if that was me, I wouldn't even been on newscast. I've been down there fucking up the place, baby. I've been down there breaking windows trying to figure out what my kid at. But yeah, all right, so that leads us to another situation. Fuck it, we might as well just keep going, baby. Dealing with schools. So in this particular clip, there was I don't even know where this at. Where is this located? Oh, Wisconsin. There was a graduation where a father ran up on the stage and apparently didn't want the superintendent to shake his daughter's hand during graduation.
Hmm.
So before we go into all the purported updates, what was your initial thought process when you saw that?
Like, how embarrassing for her, like, without knowing exactly why, because at first it was like so many different stories going around as to why it actually happened. I was like, oh my God, why? Like, why do that on her day? Like, this is her day, like, like, at first I read that it was because of bullying, because apparently they bullied her at school and the school wouldn't do anything about it.
The
So
school. I want us to stay focused on that, but go ahead.
the school didn't do anything about it. So I was still like, my God, if that is the case, right? If it's because of bullying, gosh, she's gonna get bullied worse because you basically interrupted everyone's graduation by pushing this man. So now people are going to bully her more. Like,
Did
why
you
would
think
you
it?
even have to?
Did you think it was? Some folks were thinking that it related to race. Did that come to your mind?
Not really.
And why
I
not?
have to admit, I don't know. I there was another, African American person there too.
Was it? Because that was the
Yeah,
one who ran on the stage. On the stage with them?
yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, play it again so you can see that. I think that's exactly why I was like, I don't know, this is not race related.
Let's play it again because
That man right there. You
the
see
one right there. Where?
right there, the one with
Oh,
the
right here.
yeah.
Okay, but let's go to the update. The update of why he claimed he did it. So he filed a restraining order apparently, and what he being the superintendent. And what the update is that the father purportedly was upset that there was some bullying and didn't handle the bullying correctly. The school didn't handle the bullying correctly, and because the father claims that because they didn't handle the bullying situation with his daughter correctly, he didn't want the superintendent to shake her hand.
Wait, where you read that? Because I have a different update.
What's your update?
He had a temporary restraining order. The hearing is to be held on June 14th to address the matter.
Mhm.
There's been an ongoing feud between both Rainey and Briggs over
Who's Rainey? Who's
local.
Briggs?
Rainey is Rainey Briggs is the superintendent. So there's been
Mhm.
an ongoing feud between the superintendent, Rainey Briggs, and the father, which is Matthew Eddy, over local drama regarding bizarre salaries and high staff turnover under the term of this current superintendent, which is that guy. And so apparently
So where does this bullying come from? These are just comments then?
yeah, this is just originally that's what it was said to be. But then
Mhm.
apparently the father does not want to go into the exact details over what the feud is, and neither does the superintendent. So when the superintendent filed the temporary protection order, he did not specify reasonings as to why this ongoing feud is happening. He claims that this man is just, has it against him.
Okay, okay. Let's just assume, sake of argument. Let's just assume, sake of argument, that what you're saying is accurate. What I heard you say, let me make sure I understand what I heard you say,
Hmm.
is that the father had a concern with the turnover under the superintendent and
And
some
other stuff.
funding and other stuff with the
Right.
school system. Okay. I still don't understand what was the rush to go on the stage and say don't shake her
Because
hand.
of the ongoing feud. He says it in the interview, well, not interview, but in the temporary,
Yeah, but why
when
couldn't
they
he just
filed.
tell his daughter, don't shake his hand?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And and most school, the way the system works is normally there's some votes that happen before the superintendent can take action, right? It's not an autocracy. The superintendent doesn't have the authority to say, "Hey, I'm taking all this money away from y'all," right?
I don't
So
know.
where was the outrage for other people on that stage who we don't know who they were? I just don't understand what was the point. I mean,
Me neither. Because
I hear you, right? Let's be realistic. Had Davion finished because he
at
finished this last
Robinson,
year, yeah,
huh,
had he finished in Robinson, right? And we know about the whole science teacher, whatever the fuck she was, right? That I had to go up to the school and go off on, right? I still wouldn't have done that at a graduation. I would have just told Davion, walk past that mm,
hmm
and don't look at her because she don't deserve the energy, space, or anything, right?
I agree.
I'm not gonna run on the stage, right? In Wisconsin as a white man, where there's only two black people on there, and one of the black people who you move happens to be the superintendent, who, oh, by the way, happened to be the leader, quote unquote, of the school board, and push him out the way when it didn't even look like the daughter was going to him anyway at that point.
Hmm.
I mean, I just don't.
There's an update. So Superintendent Briggs 5 hours ago did an interview. So
Yeah.
he says, I didn't know what he was going to do.
After Eddie grabbed him and you're not touching my fucking daughter's hand. That's what he says. Brags because he started worrying that Eddie may try to attack him. Am I safe right now? He says. He asks himself at the moment. Are all the other people in this place safe? I didn't know what he was going to do. I can't believe that this is happening. The space isn't safe, but yet and still I had to carry on with the event. From that point on, for the rest of that night, I'm kind of looking over my shoulder. I need to know what the problem is. I mean, are they
Right here. According to the report, Eddie and his daughter had past issues with Briggs, who was named superintendent in July 2021, and they dislike him. Eddie told the school resource officer who responded to the incident that he stormed the stage because he wanted to prevent the superintendent from having the satisfaction of shaking his daughter's hand. Briggs tells Time that he does not know Eddie and has never spoken to him. 3 years ago, he and other administrators had an encounter
What?
with him
What
regarding
satisfaction
his
of shaking
daughter.
his daughter's hand?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. What's the satisfaction? Because the girl looked like she was confused and embarrassed. Personally,
This has to be about her because it says Briggs told the investigating officer that Eddie's daughter had been expelled at one point from the high school, but added that he does not directly interact with parents when it comes to expulsions. And he did not want to go into further details, citing student confidentiality.
okay. The superintendent is not coming down. First of all, he don't work at the school that she goes to. His office is not there. This 9 times out of 10, the superintendent is not coming down to suspend a student. It's the school that suspended the student
The student, yeah,
for the student's
whatever
behavior.
reason, yeah.
And if you are pissed off about whatever reason, even if it's bullying, even if it is the suspension, it's the school that she is attending, the individuals who are in charge of that school who's taking the action. I still don't understand how this levels up to the superintendent. It just makes absolutely no sense. And quite frankly, the dad just looks stupid, quite frankly, with those dumb cargo shorts on and that stupid hat walking in the graduation where he could have just told his daughter from the beginning, look, we got issues with this dude. Don't shake his
Don't shake
hand.
his hand. Yeah,
Don't
just
look
pass
at
by
him.
him.
Walk past him. Yeah. And to me, whatever excuse he gives is just an excuse and it makes absolutely no sense. It's asinine. And yeah, if this was, what's that show? 106 in Park. Not 106 in Park. When they be doing the
You took
donkey of
it
the
way
day.
back to
I
MTV.
know when that's BET 106 apart.
Oh my gosh.
When they
Yes.
do what is going on with this camera? Now you acting like that dad. You trying to roll, yo.
It fell.
All right. So the last thing I want to show, but I'm actually not going to show the video. But do you, the guy who was going to court signed into Zoom?
Wait, he was not going to no court.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was logging into court, and apparently he didn't have no license, but he
No, the
was
case was because he had a suspended license.
well, there was an update where the judge said he never had a license. So
Yeah,
I don't
but
know what.
remember originally what happened was this case the case that he was in that Zoom call was because he had gotten his license suspended and he apparently had not shown up in court or something like that.
But he ain't had no license though at the time that he was
Well,
on
and then
Zoom.
afterwards, apparently he had no license. Because remember he went on live, or I don't remember if it was a live where he did a video saying that that video had embarrassed him, that his family members kept reaching out to him,
What video
and
embarrassed him?
the one where the lawyer is saying, are you driving? I mean, where the judge
No, the
is
judge.
saying,
Okay, but why would that embarrass him? He had no fucking license.
but in his mind he did,
He did
which
not
is
have a
why he was.
license.
Well, he apparently said that it was an embarrassment that his family members and
Okay,
friends and
but the
whatnot.
bottom line is he did not have to go on video. No
Well,
one told him to go on video, and no one told him to say to the judge, I'm pulling in right now.
no, but
Look,
he
wait,
was
wait.
pulling in to pull to the
Yeah,
side
yeah,
so he
yeah,
can
yeah,
speak to
right,
the
yeah.
judge.
Yeah. But nobody told him to get on video and say, I'm pulling in right
Oh my lord.
I'm pulling in right now. Nobody told him to do that. He could have took the video off and said, Your Honor, something's going on with my camera. Do you know what I mean? Do you know how many remote hearings I've been on when people just call in?
But
Nobody told him to put on his video.
but that's the thing. I don't think I honestly do not think the man knew. I think all in this entire time he was under the impression that he was good, which is why he was on camera.
Do you really think that? When the judge said, I don't know his name,
And me neither.
the judge said, "Wait, are you driving right now?"
Yeah, he said, "Yeah, I'm way to
He
my
said,
doctor's
"Yeah."
office."
He said, "Yeah, I'm pulling in right now.
No,
I'm pulling in.
give
I'm
me a
pulling
second.
in.
Give
I'm
me a
pulling
second so I
in.
can park.
I'm pulling in right now." And the judge said, "But we hear it because you have a suspended license." You mean to tell me he didn't know he had a suspended license when he had
I
a
don't think at the
lawyer when
time,
he had a lawyer to represent him?
but that was after.
No, he had a public defender on that first one. He had a public defender in the audience when the judge was saying, "Aren't we here for a suspended license?" And the lady who was his lawyer at the time said, "Yes, we are."
Was she the lawyer or was she part of the?
She was his lawyer. Let me, you know what? I'm about to pull this video
Yeah,
up
let's find it because
because I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. I might have pulled it up because I ain't want to embarrass the man any further. No license, but let me pull it up because yes, nobody told him to turn on that camera, and then he make it seem like he was doing something. That mm-mm-mm. All right, here we go.
Court calls case People versus Corey Harris.
On behalf of Pittsfield Township.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Harris, who should be present via Zoom.
Did you
she
hear that?
did say,
Public
yeah,
defender
I
for.
didn't hear that
Mr.
part.
Harris,
Yeah.
are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office. Actually, so just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
One moment, please.
Wait, give me 1 second. I'm parking right now, bro. Look at the judge.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
Wait. Look at the judge's face.
Look at his face.
So they asked for an adjournment. Basically, they just said, let's postpone this for 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Wait. Wait. Not trying to make me spit out my drink. You are here trying to defend this man. He drive with a license.
I'm just saying that I don't think
Hold
that.
And he was just driving.
on.
I don't think he fully comprehended.
Facts, bro. He ain't got no license. He was just driving because he pulled into his doctor's office right now.
And
Give me 5 minutes.
he didn't have a license.
See, look at his face.
Look.
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
He ain't got no license. He was driving. His lawyer says that is correct, Your Honor. But go ahead.
The judge is like, am I being punked right now? Like,
And look, the judge, you don't know what to say. Look.
and the guy neither. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he fully comprehended
You
what
don't think
he
he
was
know he
doing.
ain't had no license?
No, I don't think he fully. Oh, good. The game is tomorrow. I don't think he comprehended
Hello?
that he had literally answered that phone
1 minute, Mr. Harris.
while driving for that case.
No, he didn't answer the phone. He logged into Zoom knowing that he was going to be in court. And instead of logging in audio, he logged in while driving a vehicle
I'm
on
gonna give him the
video
benefit
and
of the
then
doubt.
say, give me 5 minutes. I'm pulling in right now. Okay.
Listen, what's more important? He had a doctor's appointment. Excuse you. And now he's like, what have I done?
Oh, oh,
He's shocked.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
See, he's like shocked. Like,
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Harris, I'll be giving you a call.
I mean, what other option is there? Why would you show up driving
yeah,
when
like,
you didn't have to show up, but show up by audio?
who knows? But what I do know is he got his permit. Mm.
he said, he
He's on
said,
road to get that driver's license.
he said, I'm pulling in right now. Just give me 5 minutes, Your Honor. I'm pulling in right
I'm
now.
stationary now.
I'm
Yes, I am.
stationary now. I'm going to my doctor's. Instead of saying, okay, listen, I mean, I'm not trying to, you ain't got to lie, right? But certainly, you didn't have to be on Zoom. You didn't have to be on video. Could have been on audio. Now, again, we don't know what the court document said, but I've been on many of these remote hearings. Many of these people are by phone only. Even lawyers are by phone only, not on video. The other thing is, he could have said, I had an emergency. I had to be here for my doctor's appointment. There was no other option for me, and this was an exigent circumstance. And so, therefore, I need to get
Hmm.
to my doctor, right? And because I have no one who can help me, I need to get here. Now, the other argument to that would be get on the fucking bus. Right. Got it. Okay. But he certainly shouldn't say I'm pulling in right now. I mean,
I'm pulling
if
in.
it, what he could, I mean, because we didn't see the steering wheel, he could have been a passenger. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, he's definitely screwed himself.
and I'm not again. This is not to say you lied. No, you need to tell the court the truth. But you certainly don't place yourself in a predicament where you are going against the grain of why you're there in the first place.
Hmm.
Right. And you try to make it seem like you are doing the right thing because you pulling over for safety
Yeah,
when you don't even supposed to have a license in the first place.
which is now that you say that is worse because you were literally driving and on the phone.
Right.
Ugh.
Again. I mean, there's so many issues with this, and his lawyer couldn't say anything.
Yeah, she did say something. Can we
She
please
said,
postpone this because
she said, she said, he said, the judge said, is he driving? And she was like, yeah,
yeah.
this motherfucker driving, Your Honor.
Mm-mm-mm.
This motherfucker driving, Your Honor. All right. This was actually a fun episode.
It
All
was.
right.
We kind of agreed on everything, which is a first.
Yeah, but we gotta get that camera angle together. That camera angle is
It's because the internet, remember, doesn't work on my room, which is where I have my computer set up, and so I had to come out here to the living room, and I
oh, I
have
didn't know
nowhere
it
to
don't
put it.
work on it in the room.
But remember, you said it was spotty. It kept going in and
Oh,
out.
that's where you were?
Yeah, in my that's where I have my computer set up.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. All right. So that is episode 90. Say what now? All right. And
Say
so
what?
say
Oh my lord.
what? I am Sean. Boom. Yeah. Haven't been behind this thing in a while. And I am joined by Denise. Denise, you want to say something to these people?
Yes, it's been a very long time. I look very bad because again, I waited 2 hours so he can get his stuff together. and I'm extremely exhausted.
It
It was
was
a
bad.
busy day at work, so I am ready for bed. So I promise next time to look better.
All right. We appreciate you anyhow. All right.
Sure.
So you can get us on X, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch at Peeps Creek. You can go to Facebook at Peeps Creek Cafe. Ooh, you can go on YouTube at Peeps Creek Podcast. And then, of course, you can send us an email and be like, yeah, I really like that. Or, yeah, you know what? But yeah, at cafe at peeps.com. Oh, wait, at cafe at peepscreek.com. And of course, you can see all of the videos, not only on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X, because we post them on there as well. But you can go to our website, you can see all the videos, you can also get all the audios, and you can see all the links to where you can download all the podcasts, audio versions, everywhere you listen to podcasts. So it has been a great little comeback. I'm in a good mood. Can you tell I'm in a great mood?
Yes, I can. And while I'm over here, like literally
I
falling
been,
asleep.
I feel so rejuvenated. Like I had
Good.
a rough couple of 8 to 9 months. I feel great, baby. A brother is out
That's
there.
good.
All right. But yeah, a brother is single and ready to mingle, baby.
Lord have mercy.
Hey, the brother. Look at that. Single ready to mingle. I'm ready to get into it, baby. All right. So, yeah. Until next time, make sure that you continue to drink, listen, and converse. Are you ready for
Peace
the next
and
episode?
love. I'm
Peace
ready.
and Lizzo.